Welcome to our deep dive on the 80-20 principle.
Yeah.
We're dissecting a YouTube audiobook summary today
Okay.
of the 80-20 principle. Achieve more with less.
Right.
And buckle up, because this principle
Yeah.
might just reshape how you view,
Really?
well, pretty much everything.
I think that's probably true.
So it's not about working harder necessarily,
Right.
but about working smarter.
Exactly.
This principle really challenges
It does.
that more effort equals more results
It really does.
mentality.
Yeah.
That's what caught my eye, too.
Oh, yeah.
The idea that a smaller portion of our effort
Mm-hmm.
could yield the biggest impact.
Right.
It's like finding a shortcut to success.
It is.
It is.
You know, this idea actually goes back to the
Bellflower.
early 1900s
Okay.
with Vilfredo Pareto.
I've heard that name.
Yeah, he was an Italian economist.
Okay.
And he noticed something interesting.
What's that?
80% of Italy's land was owned by only 20% of the people. Yeah, and that imbalance got him thinking.
I see.
And he started seeing this pattern pop up everywhere.
Oh, wow. It makes you wonder, where else in life
Right.
does this 80-20 split exist?
Exactly.
The audiobook gives an example of school subjects.
Oh, yeah.
Out of 10 subjects,
Okay.
it's likely that only 2 are truly driving
Okay.
80% of your academic success.
Wow.
So if you really honed in on those 2,
Uh-huh.
imagine the results.
Yeah.
That's the heart of it, isn't it?
It is.
Not everything we do carries equal weight.
No, it doesn't.
So how do we pinpoint
Right.
those vital few tasks,
Yeah.
those 20% actions that actually generate 80% of our results?
Well, the audiobooks is just tracking your time for a week.
Oh, really?
Like a really detailed diary
Oh.
of every hour.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Mm.
What tasks are you tackling?
Wow.
Who are you interacting with?
Okay.
That's a brilliant starting point.
I see what you're saying.
It forces you to look at where your time actually goes.
Right.
Because sometimes our perception and reality are very different.
Totally. Then the audiobook suggests analyzing that time diary
Okay.
and highlighting the activities that brought the most value,
Uh-huh.
satisfaction,
Yeah.
or progress towards your goals.
Oh,
Almost like you're a detective,
interesting.
uncovering the hidden patterns of your own life.
Right. The
Absolutely.
audiobook even gives an example.
Okay.
A small business owner with 10 clients.
Okay.
Turns out only 2 of those clients were
Yeah.
generating 80% of their revenue.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's huge.
it is.
I bet that shifted how that business owner approached their work.
Absolutely.
Did they start focusing more on those 2 key clients?
Yeah, definitely. They recognized where the real value was
Right.
and could then dedicate their energy
Right.
to those vital relationships.
Now, the audiobook doesn't just stop
It doesn't.
at identifying and prioritizing the vital few.
Right.
It dives into eliminating
Really?
the trivial many,
Okay.
those things that gobble up our time
Right.
without contributing much to our success or happiness.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
The audiobook uses the story
Uh-huh.
of a software developer named Jack,
Okay.
who was constantly drowning
Oh, no.
in emails,
Yeah.
unproductive meetings,
Uh-huh.
and administrative tasks.
The worst.
He was busy, but not productive.
I've been there.
It sounds like he needed to declutter his workday.
He did.
I've been there.
Uh,
Did he just start saying no to everything?
well, not exactly.
Okay.
He analyzed his day
Uh-huh.
and realized that 80% of his effective work
Yeah.
came from only 20% of his activities.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow, so he really did declutter his work life.
he did.
What did that look like in practice?
The audiobook outlines a step-by-step guide
Okay.
for eliminating the trivial many.
I like it.
First, identify tasks that eat up your time,
Uh-huh.
but don't move you closer to your goals. Ask yourself some tough questions.
Like what?
What do I do daily
I-
that doesn't significantly impact my goals?
Mm-hmm.
Or which activities drain my time
Yeah.
with little to no return?
I can see how that kind of self-reflection would be so valuable.
It is.
It's like shining a light
Right.
on those hidden time wasters we all have.
Exactly.
What else does this guide recommend?
Well, once you've identified the trivial many,
Okay.
the next step is to double down on what matters.
Okay.
Prioritize the activities
Uh-huh.
that genuinely align with your goals
Okay.
and bring you closer to the results you want.
So you're saying we need to be more intentional
Yeah,
about how we spend our time and energy
absolutely.
focusing on those high-impact activities.
Exactly.
What about the unavoidable tasks?
Right.
The ones you can't just eliminate?
Well, for those, the audiobook suggests two strategies:
What are those?
delegation or automation.
Okay.
Is there someone else better suited for the task?
Okay.
Can technology handle it?
Okay, so we've got identifying the vital few,
Yeah.
eliminating or delegating the trivial many.
Uh-huh.
Are we ready to start saying no to everything else?
Well, that's where setting boundaries comes in.
Okay.
It's not about being rude,
Right.
but about protecting your time and energy for what matters most.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But how do we actually put that into practice?
Well, think about politely declining meetings
Okay.
that don't align with your priorities,
Uh-huh.
saying no to requests
Yeah.
that derail your focus,
Okay.
or even setting specific office hours
Okay.
to manage interruptions.
I love that idea.
Yeah,
It's about being proactive
it is.
and taking control of your time.
Right.
Instead of letting external demands dictate your day.
Exactly.
And that leads us perfectly
It does.
into the next crucial aspect of the 80-20 principle,
Oh,
time management.
sounds good.
That sounds like a great place to pick up in part 2.
Okay.
I'm already feeling inspired to declutter my to-do list.
Me too.
All right, see you next time.
See you then.
Welcome back.
It's good to be back.
Last time we uncovered the power of pinpointing
Right.
our vital few
Yes.
and tackling those trivial many.
Exactly.
Now let's explore how the 80-20 principle
Okay.
can revolutionize our approach
Right.
to time management.
It's a big one.
It's not just about doing more in less time,
Right.
but about ensuring the time we spend is truly impactful.
I like that.
The audiobook emphasizes
Yeah,
working smarter, not harder.
definitely.
And I'm all about that.
Me too.
What are some of the strategies it recommends?
Well, it starts with recognizing that
What?
in today's world,
Yeah.
distractions are everywhere.
Ugh.
Our phones, our inboxes,
Uh-huh.
they're constantly vying for our attention.
Oh, tell me about it.
Right.
I sometimes feel like I'm juggling a million things at once,
Yeah,
and my focus is constantly being pulled
it is.
in different directions.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's why the audiobook suggests being more intentional about managing those distractions
Okay.
instead of constantly checking social media and email.
Right.
What if you designated specific times
Okay.
in your day for those activities?
That makes sense.
It's like creating boundaries for those digital distractions
Yeah,
instead of letting them interrupt your workflow all day long.
exactly.
Any other tips for staying focused?
The audiobook also talks about the power of saying no.
Oh, that's a tough one.
It can be tough,
Yeah.
but sometimes the most valuable thing you can do
Yeah.
is decline requests that don't align with your priorities.
It's so easy to get caught up
It is.
in trying to please everyone
Yeah.
or take on too much.
Right.
But I guess that's where the 80-20 principle comes in, right?
Exactly.
Focusing on the 20% that truly moves the needle.
That's the one.
Exactly.
It's about recognizing that your time and energy
Ah,
are precious resources.
they are.
Now, speaking of focusing,
Yeah.
the audiobook suggests a technique
Okay.
called batching.
Batching. What's that?
It's about grouping similar tasks together
Yeah.
and tackling them in dedicated blocks of time instead of constantly switching between writing,
Yeah.
emailing, and scheduling meetings.
Right.
You carve out specific times for each activity.
I can see how that would boost efficiency.
It does.
It eliminates those mental transitions
Yeah.
that eat up so much time and energy.
They do.
Precisely.
And there's a whole world of tools out there
Oh,
to
yeah.
help us streamline our work and stay on track.
What kind of tools?
Think task management software,
What?
calendar apps,
Uh-huh.
even simple to-do lists.
I'm a huge fan of to-do lists.
Me too.
Though sometimes mine can get a little out of control.
It can get long.
Any tips for keeping them manageable?
Well, that's where prioritization comes in.
Right.
The audiobook actually recommends the Eisenhower box for this.
Eisenhower box.
Yeah, have you heard of this?
I've heard the name.
It's a simple but powerful tool
Okay.
that helps you categorize tasks based on urgency and importance.
Okay, break that down for me.
Okay.
How does the Eisenhower box work?
So picture a 4-quadrant grid.
Okay.
You place your tasks into one of 4 categories:
Okay.
urgent and important.
Okay.
Important but not urgent.
Got it.
Urgent but not important.
Okay.
And not urgent and not important.
Okay, I'm seeing the grid now.
The idea is to focus on the first 2 quadrants,
Okay.
tackle those urgent and important tasks immediately,
Right.
and schedule time for those important but not urgent tasks.
That's a great visual.
Yeah.
It helps you prioritize those tasks
Right.
that truly deserve your attention.
Exactly.
What about the other 2 quadrants?
The urgent but not important tasks
Yeah.
are prime candidates for delegation.
Okay.
Someone else might be better suited for them.
Right.
And as for the not urgent and not important tasks,
Yeah.
well, those might be worth eliminating altogether.
So it's all about being strategic
It is.
with your to-do list.
Yeah.
Making sure you're focusing on those high-impact activities.
Absolutely.
Any other time management techniques the audiobook highlights?
There's one that's quite popular
Okay.
called the Pomodoro technique.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that one.
Have you?
Yeah.
It involves working in focused bursts
Okay.
of 25 minutes,
Uh-huh.
followed by a short 5-minute break.
It sounds a bit intense,
It can be.
but I can see how the built-in breaks would help you
Yeah.
stay refreshed and prevent mental fatigue.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it ties back to the 80-20 principle.
It does.
By focusing your energy in those short, dedicated bursts,
Mm-hmm.
you can often achieve more in less time.
It seems like the key to effective time management,
Yeah.
according to this audiobook,
Uh-huh.
is being intentional with our time
Uh-huh.
and energy focusing on high-impact activities.
Yes.
And using tools and techniques to streamline our work.
Absolutely.
Got it.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
Even the best time management strategies
Uh-huh.
are only effective if we have a clear sense of direction.
Right.
That's why the audiobook dedicates a whole chapter
Really?
to the importance of setting priorities.
Right. That makes perfect sense.
It does.
It's like having a roadmap, right?
It is.
Knowing where you want to go
Yeah.
before you start driving.
Exactly.
How does the audiobook suggest we approach setting priorities?
Well, it starts with identifying our goals.
Yeah.
Those big picture aspirations that give our lives meaning and purpose.
Right.
The audiobook recommends writing down
Okay.
your most important goals
Uh-huh.
across various areas of your life:
Like what?
career,
Okay.
personal growth relationships,
Uh-huh.
health hobbies, anything that matters to you.
It's like creating a vision board for your life, right?
It is.
Putting those goals down on paper
Yeah.
and making them tangible.
Exactly.
Once you've identified those goals,
Yeah.
the next step is to rank them
Okay.
in order of importance.
Okay.
Ask yourself, which goals will bring the most fulfillment? Which ones align with my deepest values?
Yeah.
Which ones will have the most significant positive impact on my life?
Those are good questions.
That sounds like a really valuable exercise.
It is.
It forces you to think critically about what truly matters to you
Yes.
and what you want to achieve.
Exactly.
But how do you decide which goals deserve your primary focus?
Right.
There are only so many hours in the day.
Well, it's a process of
Yeah.
self-discovery and reflection.
Right.
The audiobook encourages us to ask ourselves some tough questions.
Like what?
What are my non-negotiables?
Hmm.
What can I realistically achieve
Okay.
given my current resources and constraints?
I see.
It's about making conscious choices
Right.
about how you spend your time and energy.
Okay. Let's say we've identified our goals
All right.
and ranked them in order of importance.
Yeah.
What's next?
The audiobook suggests breaking down each goal
Okay.
into smaller, more manageable tasks.
No.
This makes them less overwhelming
Right.
and easier to tackle.
So if my goal is to write a novel, for example,
Okay.
I might break that down into smaller steps,
Okay. Like what?
like brainstorming ideas,
Uh-huh.
creating an outline,
Ah.
developing characters,
Right.
and setting a daily writing goal.
That's a good plan.
Precisely.
It's about turning those big, daunting goals into a series of smaller, actionable steps.
I love that.
Yeah.
It makes the whole process seem much less intimidating.
It does.
But even with a plan,
Yeah.
it's still easy to get sidetracked, right?
It is.
How do we ensure we stay focused on our priorities?
Well, the audiobook emphasizes the importance of regular reviews,
Okay.
both daily and weekly.
Okay.
It's about taking a few minutes each day
Uh-huh.
to look at your progress,
Okay.
make adjustments,
Yeah.
and ensure that your actions align with your top priorities.
I think that's a crucial takeaway
It is.
for anyone trying to apply the 80-20 principle. It's so easy to get swept up in the day-to-day
It is.
and lose sight of those bigger goals.
It happens to all of us.
Absolutely.
And even with the best intentions,
Yeah.
distractions are inevitable.
They are.
The audiobook offers some fantastic tips
Okay. What are they?
for managing those distractions and staying focused.
Okay.
Create a dedicated workspace,
Okay.
minimize interruptions,
Uh-huh.
and use technology to your advantage.
This is all starting to sound very familiar.
Is it?
It's like the 80-20 principle is a thread
Is.
that runs through every aspect of our lives,
Yeah.
from our work habits and relationships
Mm-hmm.
to how we set priorities and manage our time.
It really is a powerful framework
It is.
for thinking about how we can optimize our efforts
Yeah.
and live a more fulfilling life.
Yeah. I can't wait to see what other insights
Oh, there's more.
the audiobook has in store for us.
Yes.
This deep dive is already proving to be incredibly valuable.
Good.
I agree.
In part 3, we'll explore the audiobook's fascinating insights. Oh, wow.
Into the power of habits focus
Okay.
and leveraging our strengths
I like it.
to achieve even greater results with less effort.
Can't wait.
So stay tuned.
We're back for part 3.
We are.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
From identifying our vital few
Right.
to decluttering our schedules
Yeah.
and setting clear priorities.
Exactly.
Now, what other insights does the audiobook offer
Well,
for achieving more with less effort?
it dives into a concept that might sound a little unexpected at first.
Okay.
The power of habits.
Habits.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have immediately connected habits
Right.
with the 80-20 principle.
Yeah, it's not an obvious connection.
How do they relate?
Well, the audiobook highlights that about 35%
Wow.
of our daily behaviors are driven by habits.
Really?
Yeah, think about that.
That's a lot.
Almost half of what we do each day is on autopilot.
I can definitely see how that could be a powerful force
Right.
for either success or,
Yeah.
well, not so much success.
Yeah. And that's where the 80-20 principle comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of trying to overhaul every aspect of your life overnight,
Right.
the audiobook suggests focusing on building one key habit at a time.
Okay.
So it's about working smarter, not harder,
Yeah,
even when it comes to habit formation.
exactly.
What's the best way to approach this?
The audiobook recommends starting small.
Okay.
Choose one habit you want to cultivate
Uh-huh.
and break it down into tiny, manageable steps.
So instead of trying to meditate for an hour every day right off the bat,
Right.
I might start with just 5 minutes each morning.
Exactly.
That takes the pressure off.
It does.
It makes habit building seem less daunting.
It does.
Any other tips for making those new habits stick?
The audiobook highlights the importance of
Okay.
identifying your triggers.
My triggers.
Yeah, the things that prompt your habits. It
Okay.
could be a specific time of day,
Uh,
a certain location, even an emotional state.
so if I notice, I tend to reach for a sugary snack when I'm feeling stressed.
Mm.
I might try replacing that habit with something healthier,
Exactly.
like taking a quick walk or listening to uplifting music.
That's a good idea.
Exactly.
It's about becoming aware of those patterns.
Right.
And consciously choosing a different response.
The audiobook also emphasizes
It does.
the power of positive reinforcement.
Yes.
Our brains love rewards.
You do.
So associating a positive feeling with a new behavior
Right.
can make us more likely to repeat it.
Exactly.
So if I manage to stick to my daily writing goal,
Yeah.
I might reward myself with a luxurious bath or a delicious cup of tea.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Those little rewards can go a long way in
Right.
reinforcing positive habits.
And remember, building new habits takes time and effort.
It does.
Be patient with yourself.
Yeah.
Celebrate those small wins.
Absolutely.
Don't be discouraged by setbacks.
They happen.
They're all part of the process.
They are.
It sounds like building good habits is an ongoing journey,
It is.
not a destination. Now let's shift gears
Okay.
and explore another crucial element
Uh-huh.
for maximizing our efforts.
Right.
The power of focus.
Big one.
That's a tough one for me.
It is for a lot of people.
I feel like I'm constantly bombarded with distractions.
I hear that.
How can we cultivate greater focus
Right.
in today's world?
Well, the audiobook offers several strategies.
Okay.
It all starts with setting clear goals.
Okay.
When you know exactly what you're trying to achieve,
Yeah.
it's much easier to stay focused.
So instead of vaguely saying, I need to work on my website,
Right.
I might set a more specific goal.
Like what?
Like, I'm going to update my portfolio page with my latest projects and testimonials.
Much better.
Precisely.
By defining a clear objective, you give your mind a target to aim for,
Right.
which can help you stay on track and resist distractions.
That's a great tip.
Yeah.
Any other strategies for maintaining focus
Let me think.
amidst all the noise of modern life?
The audiobook recommends creating to-do lists. Okay.
Breaking down those goals into smaller, more manageable steps,
Uh-huh.
it also highlights the importance of eliminating distractions,
Right.
whether it's turning off notifications,
Yeah.
finding a quiet workspace,
Oh.
or using noise-canceling headphones.
I can practically feel my stress melting away,
Right.
just imagining a peaceful workspace with no distractions.
It's a beautiful thing.
What about those times when you need laser-like focus
Yeah.
for a particularly challenging task?
The audiobook suggests using the Pomodoro technique.
Right.
Remember those focused 25-minute work sessions?
Yeah.
With short breaks?
Right.
They can be incredibly effective for maintaining focus
Uh-huh.
and preventing mental fatigue.
I'm definitely going to try incorporating that technique into my workflow.
Good.
The audiobook also highlights
Mhm.
The benefits of mindfulness and meditation.
Oh, yeah.
These practices can help us train our minds
They can.
to stay present and focused, even amidst distractions.
Quite
I've heard great things about mindfulness,
Yeah.
but never really knew where to start.
Sure.
Are there any specific resources you recommend?
There are tons of great apps and guided meditations available online.
Okay.
Even just taking a few minutes each day to focus on your breath can make a big difference.
That sounds doable.
Experiment and see what works best for you.
Okay.
The audiobook also suggests leveraging one of our greatest assets,
What's that?
our strengths.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
It makes sense that we'd be more productive and fulfilled
You're right.
when we're doing things we're naturally good at.
Exactly.
And this ties back to the 80-20 principle.
It does.
Those strengths likely fall within
Right.
that 20% of activities that yield 80% of our results.
Exactly.
So the audiobook encourages us
Uh-huh.
to identify our strengths
Yeah.
and find ways to prioritize those activities that allow us to use them.
That's the key.
But sometimes it's hard to recognize our own strengths, isn't it?
It can be.
How can we gain more clarity
Yeah.
about what we excel at? The audiobook suggests reflecting on past successes.
Okay.
Think back to those times when you felt most accomplished and fulfilled.
Uh-huh.
What skills or qualities did you use to achieve those successes?
That's a great exercise.
It is.
It's like looking back through your highlight reel
Right.
and spotting those recurring themes.
Exactly.
Another approach is to seek feedback from others.
Oh, good idea.
Sometimes our friends, family, or colleagues can see our strengths more clearly than we can.
They can.
I'm going to make a point of asking for that kind of feedback.
Good.
Now, what about those tasks
Yeah.
that don't align with our strengths?
Right.
Are we just supposed to avoid them completely?
Not necessarily. If those tasks are unavoidable,
Uh-huh.
the audiobook suggests either delegating them
Okay.
to someone who might be better suited
Right.
or finding ways to automate them.
Okay.
The key is to prioritize those activities
Right.
that allow you to play to your strengths,
Uh-huh.
as those are likely to be the areas
Right.
where you can make the biggest impact.
It's all about working smarter, not harder.
It is.
So we've covered habits,
We have.
focus strengths.
Uh-huh.
What else does the audiobook have to say
Let's see.
about creating a more fulfilling and productive life?
It emphasizes the importance of our environment.
Our environment?
Yeah, both our physical space
Oh.
and the people we surround ourselves with.
That makes sense.
Both can significantly impact our productivity and well-being.
A cluttered workspace can be so distracting,
It can.
and negative people can drain your energy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The audiobook offers some great tips
Right.
for creating a supportive environment.
Okay, what are they?
Declutter your workspace.
Okay.
Create inspiring corners.
Uh-huh.
Optimize your workspace layout for functionality. Surrounding yourself with positive and supportive people
Okay.
can also make a huge difference.
So it's about setting the stage for success,
It is.
both internally and externally.
Ab-
And remember, the 80-20 principle can even be applied to our relationships.
That's an interesting thought.
So it's not just about having a huge network of acquaintances,
Right.
but about focusing on those relationships that truly matter.
Exactly.
The audiobook suggests identifying
Okay.
those vital few relationships,
Yeah.
those that bring joy and support to your life,
Right.
and prioritizing those connections.
I like that.
This deep dive has been incredibly insightful.
Yes.
We've covered so much ground,
We have.
identifying our vital few tasks
Yeah.
and eliminating the trivial many,
Uh-huh.
mastering time management, building effective habits,
Right.
harnessing the power of focus, leveraging our strengths,
Yeah.
and creating a supportive
I
environment.
did it. Yeah.
It's like we've uncovered a blueprint
We have.
for a more productive, fulfilling, and balanced life.
I think so.
It's all about making conscious choices,
It is.
about where we invest our time, energy, and attention.
Yes.
By focusing on the 20% that truly matters, we can achieve remarkable results with less effort
Absolutely.
and create a life that aligns with our values and aspirations.
That's the goal.
What a fantastic way to wrap up our deep dive
It was fun.
into the 80-20 principle.
It was.
We hope this exploration has sparked some new ideas
Yeah.
and inspired you to apply these principles to your own life.
Me too.
Remember, it's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters most.
Words to live by.
So think about it. What's one area where you could apply the 80-20 principle today to see a real difference?
Good question.
We encourage you to check out the full audiobook
Yes.
for even more in-depth guidance.
Absolutely.
Until next time, happy deep diving.
See you then.